So Sweetheart on Netflix. This movie did come out early in 2019, but it's just making its way to Netflix at the end of 2019. And I watched it, felt like, you know what? There's probably some hidden meaning in here that deserves a little bit of explanation, a little bit of examination to just go into. So no, going in, this is going to contain spoilers. If you haven't watched the movie, or you're just looking for a review that gives you the review of it without spoiling anything, I've done a spoiler for review for you. I've linked it in the description below and up here in the corner someplace. You can also click there. So if that's what you're looking for, click off of this, watch the movie, watch the review, then come back and join in the discussion. I'm sure that in this, I've missed some things. Or maybe I've even gotten some things wrong. And so I appreciate you correcting me or continuing the conversation in the comments. That's what I love doing about this. I love when we can just have a discussion in the comments. We keep it civil. Well, you may disagree with me. I may disagree with you. That's okay. We can still walk away friends because we have gotten a better understanding of the film. And I think that's what it deserves. This has social and political commentary in the film. And so I'm just going to give a quick overview of the film just so that we're all on the same page. Jen is a young black woman who is shipwrecked and stranded, washed ashore on a deserted island. While she's there, she discovers some just bones, also some supplies from people that have lived there before. And in the middle of the night, she hears all kinds of weird sounds, discovers that it is some creature that comes out of the ocean and searches the island for food. And it just leaves swaths of destruction everywhere it goes because, well, it's indiscriminate. It is hunting for food and it doesn't care what it is, but also it might actually have a mind to it. Like it may target certain things. So Jen has to figure out how to survive and then eventually how to escape or be rescued. So Jen is a strong, young black woman. She is full of ingenuity and she is highly intelligent and just she can get things done. And I like that she is not this wilting flower that she comes when she gets onto the beach there. I mean, she acts. She goes into action. Her friend who washed up with her is dying. I mean, he's almost dead. Now, personally, I wouldn't have removed the bone out of his side because you don't know what it's plugging up. So she probably caused his death unintentionally in that. That's a whole nother issue right there. I don't think that, I mean, it just maybe adds to her grief a little bit and it pushes her in to now total solitary. And she's got to just deal with that, which also leads to the impetus for when she buries her friend and then the creature comes out of the ocean and it just tears it apart and feeds on it, on the corpse. That is her first real clue that there is a ultra predator, an apex predator that is there hunting on this island. But with Jen herself, I like that she's not reliant on anybody, that she is strong enough to stand on her own. And I think that she is a great role model for any young woman, regardless of color, that look, I can stand up, I can do this in the face of adversity, I can figure things out, I can just plow through it, and I may not succeed every time. I might fail, but I'm going to keep going. Despite all of my frustrations, despite even feeling a little hopeless, I'm still going to try and make it work because I see hope and I want to push forward. I think that's really important, especially when you take into context the monster, because the monster itself can be seen as a political figure. It's something that lurks in the deep and drags its victims into a swirling hole, never to be seen again. Like I said, it's a true predator, apex predator, very indiscriminate almost in what it feeds upon and what its prey is. It just sees something that it's going to attack. Maybe it's a perceived threat. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just food or whatever, or it's seen as weaker and it goes after it and it pounces and it devours. The writer was interviewed and stated that the monster was intentional in the writing. He had a political figure in mind when creating this monster and this story. It's an utterly powerful creature, seemingly unstoppable, and it brings torment and destruction wherever it goes. Regardless of your political stance, this is a relevant topic. And if you know anything about me and my channel, I loathe politics. But I appreciate what the writer's doing in this story. When Lucas and Mia, Jen's boyfriend and friend respectively, wash up on shore, she now has new foes to contend with. Now, these two new people, they bring mystery with them. I mean, Jen, when she's opening up the knife, she sees that it's covered in blood, that there's dried blood everywhere. Lucas and Mia, they're also acting very suspiciously, very quiet. Now, at first I thought, well, you know what, they just hooked up together because they were alone in this raft for quite a while. But I think it's something deeper than that. I think it's something much darker also. Later, when Lucas and Jen try and escape on the raft, Jen sees all the blood and the bloody handprints within the bottom of the raft. And that points to the guy that was washed up before Lucas and Mia got there that Jen finds. He's cut in half, but his face is all slashed up. Now, at the very beginning of that, when he washes up, we assume it's bites or something like that from just, fish, just creatures in the ocean. Now, maybe the bottom of half of him missing, that could be from that. But the slashes, the cuts, I truly believe are from Lucas and Mia. We don't know what went on in there, but something dark and devious did happen in that raft. And it was survival of the fittest, and that dude was not the fittest. It also shows how ruthless the pair is to get what they need and to do what they need to do in order to survive. They're willing to sacrifice others in their pursuit. Now, I find it interesting that neither Lucas nor Mia believe Jen. She tells them of this impending doom and this impending danger. Look, there is something out there that is killing. It will come after us. We cannot just stay right out here in the open. Now, I don't have any proof of this, but I need you to believe me. I have the experience. I have just all of the knowledge that you, Mia, Lucas, you don't have. You just washed up. You don't know. I've been here. I'm telling you. And they don't believe her. Without that proof, without that something else to corroborate her story, they just don't believe Jen. And then in the midst of that, they're dismissive. And that's where the name, the title of the movie comes. Because at one point in a very subtle bit of dialogue, Lucas refers to Jen as sweetheart. Like as in, it's okay, you're just a small little woman. I'll take care of this. You don't know what you're talking about. It's very condescending. It's very dismissive. And Jen is not one to be dismissed. She is powerful. She knows what she's talking about. And really, Lucas is the one, he's just trying to push her off. So it's, in one aspect, it's the male dominance trying to just quiet the female in there. But also, it's, if you look at it from even a larger perspective, it's one majority trying to quiet another. Or to quiet a minority, maybe. Or a minority trying to quiet a majority. I don't know, however you want to look at that. But it is one group trying to silence the other. Like, you don't know. It's okay. We're fine. Everything is good. You're just overreacting. You just go on your way. We'll take care of it. Because they see Jen as hysterical, because they see her as just somebody who can't be trusted or doesn't know what she's talking about, they utterly dismiss her, which then leads to their demise. They didn't heed the warnings. They didn't see all of the warning signs and listen to Jen telling that, hey, I know what I'm talking about. Well, guess what, Mia? You're about to get slashed on the beach and then drug underground. Or really underwater, then underground. And that's the message to us. The story is saying, hey, beware of the monster that lurks in the deep. It's in the dark. You may not see it. You may not believe it, but it is out there. And that's what the story is trying to tell us, that we can't just blindly go through life and just saying, hey, everything's okay. And if somebody comes up and says, no, there's danger coming, we just don't, oh, you're okay. You don't know. Just move along. We'll take care of it. Or there's not any danger at all. The airplane flying over more than once is Jen's chance at rescue. But it's unattainable. Because you have those in the airplane who don't look down. They're way above it. They're unknowing, ignorant of the fact perhaps, or just blatantly ignoring everything that's going on below them. All those people in the airplane had to do was look over their shoulder, look down, and could see the flare or anything else, and then provide the needed relief. And that's the bigger story also, that those in power are ignoring what's going on underneath, how it's affecting the smaller person. There is somebody, or even if you translate that one person into a larger group, they're screaming for help. They need to be rescued. And those in power that have the ability to bring that rescue, to bring that comfort, to bring that relief, aren't paying attention. They're not looking down. They don't see past what's only around them. They're only looking at their level and ignoring anybody and anything that is within their reach and within their ability to help. So only after Mia is eaten and drugged underwater does Lucas really begin to pay attention to what Jen is saying. But then it's too late for him. I mean, we know what happens ultimately to him too. He goes in the water, goes in the raft. The creature grabs him and drags him into that hole under the water, and he's never heard or seen again. The final fight with Jen and the creature on the island is great. And it was wonderful to watch that. I mean, it was just brutal too. But I think what's even more powerful is her journal entry that she writes that becomes the voiceover as you see her preparing everything. She is warning and telling anybody who finds this that there is danger. That you may not see the proof, she may not have any proof, but yet it still exists. And she begs them to believe her, to not ignore this one last warning sign that, hey, you need to pay attention, you need to watch out. Something really bad is here and it will destroy you. She's lived it. She may not have the physical proof, but she has the education, the emotional wherewithal, everything in her experience because she has lived through this and experienced all of it. She knows the true horror that is out there and is trying to warn others so that they don't get ensnared in it as well. I like that Jen never gives up. That despite being beaten up, I mean, just thrown against the tree, which on a side note, I'm not sure how her back didn't get broken, but that's beside the point. She doesn't get up. She just stumbles up, tries to keep fighting, and she does keep fighting. And then the climax of the fight, when the monster rips her up by the throat and is just holding her there, she pulls out her one hidden weapon and just goes ham on the thing and just stab, 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 stab. And then it finally dies. Victory for Jen. But also, she chops off its head. And I love the final scene of this where you see her stumbling towards the raft, carrying the head of the beast. That she has slayed it. She now has the proof, even though she's urged us, regardless, without the proof, please believe me. But then even bigger than that, bigger than Jen's victory, is the island. We get to see that the island is half on fire. I mean, it's just a raging inferno that's going on because of the trap that she set. But the other half is left unharmed. It is just, it's still intact. It's, even though it's night, we know it's green, it's lush, it's still growing. And that provides us the hope that even though part of this thing is dead, dying to utter destruction, the entire thing is not lost. That there still is something to be saved, and there still is hope within this, what is seemingly a wasteland or seemingly hopeless. Sweetheart leaves us with a sense of hope, a strong female lead who has fought against all odds to survive. That's what it leaves us with. I love the message of that. So what did I get wrong? What did I miss? Let's continue this conversation down below in the comments. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on it. Correct me if I'm wrong, and then let's just, let's build off each other so that we can get a better understanding of everything that we watched. If you enjoyed this, please give it a like. Also, if you're not a subscriber yet, please consider subscribing. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.